Finch is at the emergency room, seeing Dr. Megan Tillman. She examines his X-ray and discovers that he has had spinal fusion surgery within the previous year. While she suggests other means of treatment, Finch says he only wants painkillers, which she offers him. He replaces her beepers while she turns away. Finch informs Reese that Tillman is the machine's most recent output. She's a gifted, hardworking doctor who lives alone. She's well-liked and has had no complaints from patients. Reese believes they'll have to keep an eye on her 24/7 to figure out why she's on their radar. Tillman walks to a bar, and Reese notices a man who ran into her before. He makes a point of bumping into him and grabbing his wallet. The man's name is Andrew Benton, and he is carrying roofies. Reese finds out from the bartender that Tillman has gone to the club every night that week, so she is leading a double life. Benton is an investment banker with a history of complaints that suggest he might be a sexual predator, so Reese breaks into Benton's house and steals files from his laptop. Carter deduced from camera footage of the heist last week that Reese and Finch, who she discovered under a different name, spoke during the heist. Finch discovers that Benton has an erased college record, and Reese intends to use Detective Fusco to get it. Finch, however, dislikes Reese's connection with Fusco, stating that one day the dog will bite back. A few drug dealers pays Fusco a visit in search of their unpaid debts. They threaten to hurt Fusco's son if they don't get their money. Tillman is back in the bar the following night. She and Benton get along in the bar. She introduces herself as Kate Lehman, which is a fake identity. As they leave the bar, he invites her back to his apartment, but she declines. Reese follows Tillman, who appears to be capturing pictures of Benton. He then realizes that she is the one stalking him. Fusco tells Reese about the drug dealer's harassment and asks for his help, but Reese only takes the files and leaves. Benton was accused of drugging and raping a lady in college. He got free in part because she took 2 days to report the incident. The young woman was Tillman's sister who committed suicide after the incident. Carter pays Finch a visit to discuss the robbery that he observed. She confronts him about his exchange with one of the robbers, as if Reese had spoken with him, but he claims the guy ordered him to stop gazing at him, and he pleaded for his life. Finch tells Reese that he believes Carter will catch up with him shortly. Reese joins Tillman in a support group. He talks to her at the coffee machine and tells her he has lost someone important to him too. She tells him the story about bumping into Benton a month ago. She saw him on a date, living a happy life, and wanted him to pay. Reese works out Benton's rape routine. He takes girls home and convinces them to do coke with him, before he takes advantage of them. Reese follows Dr. Tillman's fake name and discovers a home full of supplies she may use to dispose of Benton's body. He believes she intends to get rid of him. Reese assists Fusco in bringing down the drug traffickers who have been putting pressure on him. But instead of killing them, he beats them up and takes their drugs, leaving Fusco stunned and terrified of what they would do to him. Reese approaches Benton's car and knocks him out. He destroys the guy's car in front of the station and fills it with narcotics. Unexpectedly, Benton gets freed the next day. Fusco claims that his early release is due to his expensive lawyers. Tillman is listening to what appears to be a suicide voicemail left by her sister. Finch notices Tillman approaching Benton's flat and notifies Reese. At the same time, the drug traffickers knock down Reese. Tillman stuns Benton and binds him to a wheelchair, before loading his body into a vehicle. Fusco assisted the drug traffickers in finding Reese. They begin to beat Reese. But Fusco's jaw drops open in shock as Reese skillfully dispatches all of the drug dealers without having to remove the binds from his wrists. Fusco apologizes, and Reese informs him it's time for a change of scenery, before telling him not to do this again. Reese intentionally runs into Tillman. He addresses her by her real name and makes reference to the fact that she has a guy tied up in her car. He tells her that she's a wonderful doctor, but she'll never get away with murdering Benton. Reese believes that killing Benton will make her lose the part of herself that gives life. He adds that she doesn't have to do this and asks for her keys, which she hands to him. Behind the wheel of the vehicle, Reese informs Finch that he and Benton will have a little talk. He claims he has solved the Carter problem as he arranged for Fusco to be moved to Carter's squad by blackmailing the captain of Carter's precinct. Reese sits across from Benton, gun on the table. He inquires whether Benton believes that individuals ever truly change. Reese says that he could let him go, but then he claims that humans do not actually change. He asks Benton to assist him in making the right decision on whether killing him is better than leaving him alive. Reese interrupts Finch's meal in a diner. He inquires about Finch's favorite dish on the menu, and Finch suspects he is looking for personal information about him. He leaves a photograph of the most recent number, Judge Samuel Gates, who lives with his son after his wife died less than a year ago. Christina, the babysitter, also spends a lot of time with his son Sam. Reese begins following Gates and discovers by breaking into his office that the judge has received multiple death threats. While tailing Gates, Reese spots a man with a crew cut behind him throw away a mobile phone, which he grabs. Reese deduces from a text message which says, "School's out, moving in," that the father may not be the target. Sam gets kidnapped from his house. Reese arrives at the last minute and attempts to halt the kidnapping, but is unable to prevent Sam from being taken since he is shot in the shoulder. Gates receives a phone call from the kidnappers, who inform him that his son is alive but that if he notifies the police, he would be killed. Reese appears and assures Gates that he would assist with locating his son. Reese follows Gates to his house. The housekeeper is missing, and the alarm has been disabled. When Reese suggests Christina's involvement, Judge Gates says he does not believe Christina is involved as she loves Sam. Finch is investigating the discarded mobile phone and tries to hack the cell phone carrier in order to obtain more information. Reese finds that the nanny was murdered, most likely to obtain the alarm code. He calls 911 and leaves the line open to allow the NYPD to track the call back to its original location. Detective Carter is skeptical of the newly reassigned Fusco. She questions him about his past assignment, but Fusco receives a text from Reese asking for a meet outside. Fusco informs Reese that Carter will not give up until she finds him, and Reese requests that he examine the ballistics of a bullet and anything connected to individuals with crew cuts. Finch ultimately obtains information from the dropped mobile phone. Reese arrives at the place and knocks out a criminal named Joseph. He knows the guy belongs to an Eastern European street gang based on his tattoos. Carter arrives at the scene of Christina's death. She is informed that a neighbor saw someone who resembles Reese leaving the premises. An officer visits Gates' house to inform him about Christina, but he lies and claims that Sam is well and playing video games upstairs. Reese informs Gates about the group holding his son, but Gates is skeptical about who Reese is. But he promises the judge that he can aid him more than the cops. Gates' phone rings and the gang leader tells him that they don't want money, but rather that they need him to guarantee that a defendant in one of his presiding cases, Angela Markham, is found not guilty and freed. Gates informs Reese that Markham has been charged with DWI, and Reese warns him that the gang would kill him and his son after they get what they want, so he must buy him time to find Sam. Finch has discovered that the gang is basically a multinational enterprise. They're clever and haven't left much of a trace. Fusco informs Reese that his gunshot isn't in the system, but promises to assist him in identifying Christina's killer. Carter appreciates Fusco's partnership with the Christina case as he identifies that the shooter used a silencer, making it a professional hit. After driving around in circles with the gang member in his trunk, the thug informs Reese that he knows nothing about the boy. He explains further that they work in cells, and he doesn't have access to all the information. He does, however, provide the location of where he goes to receive payment. In court, Gates begins supporting every defense objection. He then advises the prosecutor to take her time and prepare her witness before adjourning till the following day. In chambers, he receives a call from the gang leader, who believes he is stalling. Gates said he has to create a good impression so that the decision is not reversed on appeal. Finch overhears Markham conversing with the gang boss and discovers that her link to the group is financial. Meanwhile, Reese visits the money address, where he takes another gang member and hundreds of thousands of dollars. When the gang boss discovers what is going on, he becomes enraged and begins yelling instructions. Finch has discovered that Markham is in control of a huge bank's money laundering system, which is cleaning all of the gang's dirty money. Finch believes that if they can locate the gang's individual accounts, they will be able to locate Sam. Reese requests that Gates give him more time, so Gates enters the courtroom and throws away crucial evidence. Finch is able to gain access to the bank's computer data, and Fusco notices a man on the street near Christina's house who may be the murderer. He traces his plate to a Coldfield Holdings in Brooklyn, and Reese learns the identity of the boss, Yarek Koska, from a gang prisoner. Finch informs Reese that Markham turns off the anti-laundering software for 5 minutes every day, during which time the gang wipes millions of dollars. They not only launder their own money, but also that of other criminal groups. Fusco texts Reese the name Coldfield, which he provides to Finch. It reveals a large account, as well as an address fewer than 10 streets from Gates' residence. As the jury deliberates, Reese discovers that Sam has been relocated and Markham is found not guilty. Yarek calls Gates and gives him the address of their meet to hand over Sam. Reese, knowing that both Gates and his son will be killed during the meeting, abducts Markham. Yarek is about to shoot Sam when Reese arrives with a pistol to Markham. He then informs Yarek that all of his accounts have been emptied and the funds transferred to an offshore account. If Yarek does not let them all go free, he will warn the other criminal companies that he has lost all their money, and they will almost certainly kill him eventually. This makes Yarek pull Sam away and then order his troops to kill everyone. Reese kills and wounds Yarek's henchmen, but Gates and Sam remain unharmed. Finch secretly hands a piece of paper containing Markham's financial irregularities to the main prosecutor. Carter and Fusco arrive at the Coldfield Holdings property to discover Yarek, Markham, and other gang members bound next to the cash. Reese pays Gates and his son a visit, and Gates appreciates him but tells him that he will be unable to assist him when he is arrested. Reese runs into Finch again at the diner and thanks him for the job. This time, Finch recommends a dish on the menu to him, hinting that he is a regular there, and a clear indication that he is opening up to Reese. Be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.